What are you doing? Oh, hey, I'm Sammy. Welcome to my kitchen. Oh, okay, our kitchen. This is Zucchini Pancake, and he was named after one of my favorite breakfast items, and chances are good that if I've ever made you breakfast, I've made you zucchini pancakes. Are you ready to show them how to make everyday gourmet? So zucchini pancakes, basically zucchini latkes, but with pancakes, because I shouldn't eat that many potatoes. So I'm just gonna grate about a cup of zucchini. You can do this with so many different things. I've made so many different things into pancakes. This is my favorite. And when I open a restaurant, this is gonna be the Sammy. So the ratio of flour to egg to baking powder always stays the same. So it's an egg, about 3 tablespoons of flour, and a teaspoon of baking powder. Baking powder, not baking soda. And at this point, I have done this so many times that I know what I'm doing. If you need to measure, measure. To give this a little more zhuzh, a little more flavor, to make it go from ordinary to extraordinary, I'm gonna add a few things. So I like to add a little bit of Dijon mustard, about a tablespoon or so, a little bit of horseradish, about the same amount, clove of garlic, smashed, chopped up really, really fine. About a teaspoon or so of thyme, or whatever fresh herbs you want. You can use literally anything. You could have just done salt and pepper and not any of these other things, and they'd be totally delicious. And then just for a little bit more oniony flavor, a little bit of onions, shallots. I had onions, so I'm gonna use onions. Salt and pepper. And then to help bind it all together, in addition to the flour, I'm gonna add some Parmesan cheese. Again, you don't have to use cheese, but when cheese is an option, cheese is the answer. So maybe a 1/4 cup or more. So I like to use a fork when I'm mixing all of this up. Time to fry them. So we're gonna shallow fry these in a little bit of canola oil and butter. I would like the canola oil because it's got a higher smoke point, and the butter for browning and flavor. Start there, you're gonna need more. And typically this much batter makes about 6 of the size that I like, but you could do 1 big one. It's up to you. All right, so once it starts to bubble a little bit, you're good. That's what you wanna see. You don't wanna do it before then because then it's not going to sear, and you want it to be hot. You have to be careful when you're flipping these because there's a lot of oil in the pan and they're gonna splat, so I like to just like guide it down. All of these recipes I've been making for years. This is just what I do every day, which is really, really kind of fun. This is a take on Ina Garten's recipe. She does zucchini pancakes with like nothing in them. I added flavorings and stuff to them because she served them with sour cream and I was like, oh, what? Sour cream is my favorite thing in the world. Yeah, there she is. This is my absolute favorite breakfast. This is really just an excuse for me to eat sour cream, but don't tell Pancake that. That's fine. So I also highly encourage you to top this with an over easy egg. That's a different show because the yolk and the sour cream are just beautiful with these. Just yummy. But like I said, you can make these pancakes with tons of different vegetables and even some fruit. So I'm going to show you a sweet version next. Make a sweet version, I'm gonna do apples. Apples are delicious. Think kind of like apple pie. Those are the kind of spices we're gonna do. Peeled the apples. If you don't mind apple peel, you can totally leave the skin on. Then I'm just gonna cut the core away. If you don't feel like using a knife, you can just grate it off of the apple, but I like using knives. So we're gonna do about 1.5 cups-ish of apple. All right, so again, with that same ratio of egg to flour to baking powder, 1 egg, 3 tablespoons flour, and a teaspoon of baking powder. So then to flavor this, I'm gonna, again, apple pie kind of spices. So about a teaspoon of vanilla, teaspoon cinnamon. So I'm gonna grate fresh nutmeg. If you have pre-ground nutmeg, you need a little bit more because it's not as pungent, but here it's like, I only really need like a quarter of a teaspoon. Super strong. And I get really excited about microplaning things, so I need to cut myself off because otherwise it will only taste like nutmeg. A little bit of brown sugar, just a little bit, a teaspoon or so. As in all desserts, a little bit of salt, please, please. Salt your sweet things because sweet things need salt to taste like themselves. To give it a little bit more of a floral note, fruitiness, without adding any more liquid to this, I'm gonna add some orange zest. Like a teaspoon of orange zest. And that really like brings out the cinnamon, honestly. It's really, really good. Mix it up. All right, so to go with this instead of sour cream, although I don't know why you do anything instead of sour cream, but to stay on the sweet kick and because, you know, I'm kind of not really equal opportunity dairy, but like sort of, I'm gonna do a whipped ricotta because why not? Okay, so we're gonna whip some ricotta. I'm gonna whip it good. So it's a little fluffier, you know? So this is heavy whipping cream. You gotta get some air into the ricotta somehow. So I'm gonna use the whipped cream. Again, equal opportunity dairy. All right, so once you get a little bit of air in there, I'm gonna add a little bit of brown sugar. If you whip it completely right now, by the time the ricotta gets in there, you're gonna get butter because, oh my gosh, that's what butter is. All right, so we're gonna add the ricotta. I'm gonna fold in the ricotta a little bit to the whipped cream, just lighten it up a little bit. You don't want to lose any of that air that you just put in. A little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of vanilla. It's a raining nutmeg. You're welcome. Okay, it's a raining zest. Hallelujah, it's a raining zest. Maybe I should do a musical improv. And we're gonna whip it good. All right, so the only difference between these and the zucchini pancakes is these have to be cooked a lot slower because there's a lot of sugar in the apples and the sugar is gonna caramelize before they're cooked in the center. If you cook them too high, you don't want them to burn. I mean, I don't want them to burn. You can do whatever you want. I don't like burnt pancakes. Probably like 5 minutes per side. Sweet for breakfast, or you know, dessert. This works for dessert too. I'm just gonna do one because why not? It just smells like fall. It's so yummy. I was gonna say so good. It's so good. Oh, it's like not too sweet. You get a lot of that apple, the spices there. So like instead of making apple pie, apple pancakes. You're gonna blow someone's mind at your next dinner party if you make these for dessert. And you can do these with so many things. I've done it with sweet potatoes, I've done it with potatoes, I've done it with carrots. Just so many possibilities. Let me know what kind of pancakes you make next. Comment below, ask me any questions you have, and let me know how you've made Everyday Gourmet.